Hey guys, welcome to the Save Continue podcast, where every other week we get together and talk about video games and video game related stuff. As always, I'm Shanae Howard. With me is Tommy Shelby
Hello.
and Ryan Robinson.
Hello.
It's almost October, so I almost should start saying Ryan, rise from your grave, Robinson.
You can't say that till you get the reference, Shanae. You still don't get the reference.
No,
I
she
don't.
gets it.
What is it from?
I have no idea. I don't get it. Don't say that I know things that I don't know, Tommy.
All right, my bad.
It's before your time.
I
Don't
mean,
worry about it.
What is it?
From
It's a video game reference
Altered Beast.
Oh, never played it.
for the Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Never heard of it. I don't
Okay.
know her.
It's not great.
It's not a great game, but
Have y'all been playing any great games recently?
Tons. Like, you ever play too many games and your eyes feel like they're gonna fall out?
2 scoops of eyeballs,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Yeah, that's been me all week. I'm like, each morning I wake up and my eyes are burning, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna play more video games
Hell
anyway.
yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
I'm gonna DoorDash you some eye drops. That'll clear
I
you
need
up.
I think some of those blue light glasses,
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
But yeah,
I think they have them at Target for like $20. You should try it.
Also,
Yeah, we'll
is your
see.
room well lit when you're playing, Thomas?
it is not.
Okay, so that's
So.
part of it too.
Yeah. I like it to be dark in there, you know.
Sure. I understand.
So you can laser focus.
Yeah. So like every time I get a new console, I'm like, what are the games that are gonna make this thing worth my money, you know?
Sure.
And so this week I started playing games that like either I could only play there
Yeah.
or seem to be better there for one reason or another, you know. So I played through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Or do you
can
rank
see...
it among the other Ratchet and Clank games?
Oh, it's easily the best one. Easily.
Dang.
Yeah, you could see why it's PS5 only, right? Like it would be, you know, they'd be better off releasing it on both consoles just because the install base, but you could see why it would only work on a PlayStation 5. And it's just really, really good. A lot of fun. I platinumed it, and like, you're not even really trying to platinum it. You're just going through it because it's fucking fun, you know?
Yeah. That's
really-
that's a good video game.
Yeah, really good game. And then I've been playing Deathloop.
Hell yeah, brother.
I wasn't so sure about Deathloop, you know, like
Yeah.
with the trailers and all that. I wasn't excited for it, but I'm glad I picked it up. It's really, really fun, and I was a little intimidated by it because like the premise is intimidating, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, it's fine. Like the game organizes everything for you, and it's nice. It's a really fun game.
Familiar with Deathloop. So will you,
Deathloop is new game came out this week. It's like first person shooter from Arcane. All right.
The Dishonored
like-
folks.
Yeah, everybody's on this island. You're all on this island, and there's a time loop.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 8 people that you have to kill before the end of the day in one single day.
That's a lot of killing for a day.
in order to beat the game. But there are 4 parts of the island and 4 times of day. So depending on what part of the island you choose to be on, you know, it'll change throughout the day. Somebody might be somewhere, one place in the morning and somewhere else at night. Or like doors will be open that weren't open earlier, you know, or closed that were open earlier, and like it's
So is it if you really, don't succeed the first day, I'm assuming it just like loops back again. Is it the
Yeah.
same pattern each time? So is it like one of those like where
Yeah.
every loop you do, the easier it is?
yeah. So only you and this other person retain their memories, which basically means everybody's doing the same thing every day, you know. So yeah, eventually you do start to learn, like, in the morning on this rooftop, there's going to be two guys, like, yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. And it's like, we talked about ludonarrative harmony, like, it's ludonarrative harmony of the fucking game. Like, everything you do makes sense, and like everything that happens makes sense. So like so much in that, like, in games you kill somebody and their body disappears.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason for that, and it's acknowledged, and like, yeah, it's just
Yeah,
really
it was a
really
lot easier
good.
for our rendering team if we didn't have these around everywhere. So,
But yeah, it's very good, very good. And the last game I started playing came out yesterday, called Kena Bridge of Spirits. And that's a game that was announced along with the PlayStation 5. It is on PlayStation 4 and I think on PC. On PS4, um, it looks pretty much the same, right? There's like less foliage. Like, foliage is less dense.
Yeah.
Fewer leaves falling from the trees and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I need the most leaves, otherwise I cannot enjoy this game.
But it's from this studio called Ember Labs. It's their first game, and like, to look at it and like, it's fucking amazing that this is anyone's first game. It's crazy. So they were they still are an animation studio. So they've done like some work on TV and movies. If you guys remember that Majora's Mask fan film that came out a couple years ago, that was theirs.
I remember that.
Yeah, but like, it's just gorgeous and super fun and very emotional, and it's like, it's very hard to describe. It's like almost like a PS2 platformer, right?
It sounds like a Tommy-ass game.
It's really not though, but like, it's fantastic. Like, you're platforming around, and it feels similar to like a Jak and Daxter sort of jump, more so than a Mario jump. But then you've got these little critters called the Rot. There's little black poofy things that follow you around, and you collect more and more of them, and they do different things for you. It's similar to like a Pikmin or like an Overlord, but like, they help you with so much more than those guys do in those games, right? Like, they can help you solve puzzles and all that, but they can also help you in combat. It's really weird, but like, it's so good. And the combat, right? The combat is like a mix between like Dark Souls and Pikmin. It's very, very strange. Like,
That is strange.
it feels like Dark Souls combat in that, like, it's all it is pattern recognition, knowing when to dodge and when to hit, and like, that's all Dark Souls is. That's all this really is. But then you've got like these fucking things that you can send out, either to like gather you health or to like hold an enemy while you attack them. It's really fucking weird, but like, it's real good so far. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot about the game on social media in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people are right there with you as far as like the comparisons to PS2 era platformers, which is
See, and I think that's very reductive, right? Like, the platforming itself, sure, that's like a Jak and Daxter, but like, that's it,
Yeah. So would you say like the overall feel of the game is really reminiscent to that era, or?
It is in that, like, in like a Banjo-Kazooie, you got like a hub world that branches off.
Sure.
Like, you get that here too. And the paths are like somewhat narrow and linear, but in a way that makes sense, right? Like, if you're playing something like a Far Cry or a Horizon, and you're running through a populated wooded area,
Right.
and you're just running through these fucking fields of trees, like, the game doesn't allow you to do that. It's very, like, there are set paths.
Right.
But like, that makes me think of like being in the woods when I was a kid. Like, you can't just run off in any direction you want. There's, like, there's a dirt path for a fucking reason.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but you might get lost and
It's a good
also
way to
trip
end up
on
on
stuff
the
and get
news.
some scratches.
And the level design's really good. Like, things wrap back around on themselves very well,
Yeah.
And it's just, it's gorgeous. Like, we talk about games looking like Pixar movies. Like, that's this, like, more so than even Ratchet. Ratchet is technically much more impressive in the different things that it does. but like you can tell these guys were animators, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sounds
Looks
really cool.
good.
And that's it. Just those three. Mostly Deathloop right now.
Yeah,
And
I'm excited to play Deathloop.
Yeah,
yeah, play it.
you gotta get all those murders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Uh,
I guess the PC. I wanted to play it on PC, but I guess the PC version has like some small issues with mouse tracking. So like everyone's referring to it as stutter. Stutter refers to frame rate, though. It's not a frame rate problem. It's the problem with the way the mouse moves versus the camera. I don't know if it's
have you
fixed
been
yet.
going on all the forums and like correcting people that it's
Yeah,
not stutter?
I have. Yeah. I don't know if it's fixed yet or not, but like if it's not fixed, Digital Foundry put out a really good video on like the settings to make that less of a problem, you know? So play it where you can. It's PS5 and PC only right now, but I'm sure in a year or so it'll be on Xbox.
Yeah.
It sounds like one of the games that I would get like my notebook out so I could write notes. Like
Yeah, and that's what
like,
I was
things I
worried about. Like that's why I was a bit deterred from this game, you know? But like you don't need to.
like
The
doing
game
that.
does all of that for you, you know?
Oh, it like keeps track of it, like where you can like
Yeah.
leave memos, and so you know, like, because like that's the
Like you
thing that
have
I
these
do, where
leads
I'm
that
like,
you follow, and it's like, well, this will lead you to this, and that'll take you to that, and like it's very good about that. You have leads for like the people you want to assassinate, but also leads for like certain like good weapons, which I don't think really matters. Like the first person shooter aspect of the game is
unless
very
somebody wants it.
yeah, sure, but like the FPS part of the game is super easy, right? Like it's not hard. These fights are not hard, and
Like I still lose.
and you feel like within the first hour of the game, you get good enough guns that you're probably good for the rest of the game. You know,
I need more.
but like, dude, like no game has ever made me feel as much like a detective in this game. You know, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that another player can control the rival assassin.
Yeah.
That
So
sounds
you can set
interesting.
that. That's actually a really good point. All right, that's a big part of the game. There's the rival assassin Juliana. Her whole mission is to protect the loop, so that means killing you, and that can be controlled by another player, whether that be randomized or off your friends list, or by computer AI if you don't want to deal with that. And playing as her is really fun too. I just killed my first cult today, playing as her, and it's incentivized because like you unlock like skins and stuff if you play as Juliana.
So do they have like separate abilities? Is playstyle different between them?
No, not really. I mean, they have separate abilities in that like there's these powers that are called slabs, which you have one as Colt, and you can take them when you kill these bosses, right?
Right.
So in that aspect, yeah. But like no, they are pretty much the same, except for Colt has what is called reprise, which means he can die twice.
Right.
Nobody else can, you know.
Right.
She does have a power called Masquerade that Colt doesn't get, where you can like switch bodies with an NPC.
Oh, that's
you know?
cool.
So like an NPC will look like you,
Yeah.
which is like pretty advantageous. Like the best way to play as her is like do that so you to look like a regular NPC, and then act like an NPC would act.
Sure.
You know, don't fucking jump around all over the place.
Yeah, it's like
You know?
that's very
Fucking idiot.
That's very Hitman. I think.
Yeah, just slowly walk and try to blend in, and
Right.
yeah, and that's the best way to win as her. But one thing I don't see anybody talking about is, and I don't think it's intentional, but it's super easy if you want to play this game co-op.
Oh yeah, just like have someone just like as Juliana, just be like, hey, just go right on ahead. You're fine.
Yeah, because like if you can set it to be where only your friends list can invade you,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And then as that friend, I can decide which of my friends I want to invade,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Um,
So can she also attack like the player Colt's targets or no?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you're Juliana and you kill, like you might, even if you're trying to play legit, right? You might kill an NPC because maybe they have a better gun that you want or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like one or two you can get away with, but after a while they'll turn on you, you know?
What do you mean? And you think I killed everybody? I'm part of you guys.
But it's a cool thing that like I haven't heard anybody talk about. Like you can play this game co-op, not all of it, right?
Yeah.
Juliana can only invade at certain points of the game at certain times.
I see.
But like, yeah, it's an interesting thing.
That's really
It sounds
cool.
more like you can still do more co-op stuff than other games that have a good co-op thing. Because it
Yeah,
kind of reminds me the way that you're describing it is like the Luigi's Mansion on the Switch, like where you
yeah,
can play as Gooigi, but you only really like benefit from that in certain points.
yeah. Different, but sure.
I
I
mean,
get what you're saying.
I mean, like Luigi's Mansion is supposed to be co-op, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean. Like there's certain games where you can
right,
like
right, right,
they say co-op, but you can only do it at certain points, so it's not really co-op.
right. And Juliana's not getting like the fucking like you know all these notes, right? You're picking up notes and you're picking up uh recordings, and it's even contextual stuff. Like in the game, you might see like I saw two guys tunneling. I'm like, okay, that's weird, and I killed them. And then like my notes are like, there's two guys tunneling. So like later in the day, if you just let them continue to tunnel, later in the day, there's an opening there. You know,
Sure.
like Juliana can't collect notes or anything like that for you, but like she can help you kill a bunch of dudes.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's neat.
it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it. I've been looking forward to it since it was announced.
Acting's really good too.
Yeah, I imagine
Yeah.
it would be.
Um, what have you been playing, Ryan?
Really, I've my attention the last 2 weeks has been centered around four main games. So the big one is I just the other a few days ago I finished Yakuza 6, and
Yakuza lose.
yeah, and like that game definitely firmly helped me cement Yakuza as my favorite game series of all time. Like it was just so fantastic. And it was, and I was texting Tom about it the other night, and I was a mess all throughout the ending credits of that game. Like, and
How much do you ball? Like, at least enough to fill a coffee cup?
well, like, because like
Gross.
that is actually kind of gross.
With his tears.
But I was telling
I'm not saying snot in the cup.
I was telling Tom that like because Kaylee was sitting next to me when it happened. Like I was just sitting there crying, and she was like rubbing my back. She was like asking me like what happened, and I was like,
Man.
Oh, I really like that actually.
but yeah,
Because I'd be laughing at you, and Kaylee loves you so much and is being so kind to your emotional distress.
but yeah,
Ryan told me like that the game made him cry at the end.
yeah.
Which is
And
not
I was
surprising.
like, I had to be like to not make fun of him. I had to be like, well, why? Why did it make?
Well, because like,
you know?
and keep in mind that I've known Tom for 25 years, so I'm at the point where I know the gamble that I'm taking. So I knew what I was getting into when I disclosed that to him, but I'm not ashamed of my feelings. So.
Yeah, Yakuza 6.
I mean,
The
you do
ending
talk
of
about crying a
Yakuza
lot, you
6.
should be.
We don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played the game yet, you know. But the ending of Yakuza 6 is very much a Dimebag Daryl situation.
It's
That's what we discovered.
no, don't say that. Don't say that.
I just want to. So the main thing I remember about Yakuza 6, you talking about it, is that there's a baby involved, and
There is a
you're being
baby.
grandpa.
Sure.
I don't want like major spoilers, but I'm assuming the baby survives, right?
Yes, the baby survives.
Ah.
Yes, the baby
what?
survives.
Okay. Well, your face looked very sad for a second. I was like, oh no.
Because I was actually like considering just being like, you'll have to play to find out, but I didn't want.
I don't know why you said that was spooky. You'll have to play to find out.
Well, my hood's
The
up,
baby,
so-
if the baby were to die, that wouldn't have made Ryan cry.
That is not
You know.
true. That is
That's
not.
not
That is
true.
not at all.
Well,
No,
I mean, on our last
was a good-
episode,
he was a good
on our last
grandpa.
episode, you talked about how much you love DMC, where Virgil shoots a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. See, Tom likes to quote me and like give zero context, and it's just.
I mean, the episode's there. If anyone wants to listen, that's fine.
Yeah, you know what?
But
you be the judge, okay? But I think Tom is
judge, jury, and executioner.
I think Tom is painting it in a very different light than it actually is. But
that's not very on brand with Tom. Tom would never do that.
No, Tom's all about the facts, man.
Just the facts.
Sure. But yeah, so I finished that, and you remember how like after I finished Persona 5, I kind of had that feeling of like no game is good enough anymore. Well,
yeah.
I had a little bit of that, but I had already.
And you played Persona 5.
Yeah,
again.
so I'm back in that now. No, yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting around to Yakuza Like a Dragon, and finally picking up Judgment and checking those games out. But I wanted to finish the main series before I got into either of those. So.
Man, Judgment looks cool.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So I'm looking forward to playing both of those. Also, I have been playing a little bit of Genshin Impact. Nothing major going on there. I got Aloy.
Nice.
And she's cool. She
Genshin Impact has some like really fun fan art. I don't know if like you're into that or like any of it, but I've seen some like
You
really.
like some of it.
Shut up.
I'm not talking about the erotic fan art. I'm talking about like there's like some that I've seen that's like slice of life where it's like the characters
See, that's
in like
that,
a little
that's that no context shit that I'm talking about.
Oh man.
But nothing really major there. I got back into it because I just I want to see some of the stuff that they added, and and give it a little bit more time, and I'm still having a good time with it. So, also I have Kaylee and I have been playing a game called Remnant from the Ashes. For those of you who don't know, it's basically it's a Souls-like game. If it were if Dark Souls was a third-person shooter. And
oh yeah. Didn't you get that a while ago?
I got it when it came out a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't know, something about it, like at the time, I was having like kind of a tough go of it as far as like advancing past like, because I got to a boss, but the first time I tried to play it, and I just couldn't do it. Like it was really difficult. And then like I picked it up again recently, and I found that I'm having an easier time with it. So I don't know.
Maybe you're back at video games.
That's probably it. Yeah, I'm actually really good at video games. But so it's basically
like.
Yeah, you are. And so basically the game, the way the game is set up is that you are this person, you are this person who is looking for some kind of artifact to kind of drive back this kind of apocalyptic scourge of interdimensional sentient tree people who have basically decimated Earth and
destroy all Groots.
Yeah, it honestly, well, they're called the Roots, so that's not too far off. But yeah, the game is like a lot of fun, especially like it's a lot more fun playing it co-op. Just having someone else there and being able to like synergize like your abilities with one another, it's really cool. And so yeah, we've put like a considerable amount of hours into that. The thing is, like, I didn't expect to care about the lore so much, but as we've been finding like notes and like computer log entries, like before I knew it, like she and I were kind of like talking back and forth about like the lore and like how things got to the way they were and kind of piecing it together, and that's been a lot of fun. And I found out also that like I never ever hear anybody talking about this game. However, whenever I bring it up, like five new people say, "Oh man, I love that game," And so like it's got some kind of like secret, like some secret fan base or something. Because like,
Dude, I was thinking about that with Kina specifically, and that
yeah,
like, oftentimes when I play a new game, I kind of like in my head, I'm like, how is this game going to be remembered?
sure,
Like what could I compare it to, you know?
sure,
And like specifically with Kina, I'm like, it's gonna be like Beyond Good and Evil,
right,
where there's a small group of people who really love it,
yeah,
but not enough people are gonna play it, you
sure,
know?
yeah.
And I think like the same could be said for that, for a lot of games, really.
Yeah,
But
because it doesn't seem to, it definitely doesn't have enough people to, for you to consistently be able to like go into the game and like find a game to join with other like random
Yeah.
players, like because when the game first came out, I usually find a few games that I could join, but now like it just never happens. But still, it seems to have like a lot of like a pretty dedicated fan base. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing it. The cool thing about it though, in comparison to like other kind of Souls-like games, is that the map layout of each area is procedurally generated, and also the bosses that you fight on a given run, which like each area has like a pool of bosses that you might fight at certain points, and it sort of mixes those up every time you do a new run, so you don't know who you're getting ready to fight until you get there, and I think that's pretty neat. And also have been playing. I've been playing Biomutant like a lot, and uh, Biomutant is by no means the prettiest game I've ever seen, and it's got some pretty noticeable bugs, but it's got a ton of personality, and it's actually like really really fun to play, and I'm at the point.
Trying to sell like an unattractive friend to me, but they have a great personality. All I can think of is Michael Scott being like, "Can I row a canoe?"
But the game has like it really does have like it does have a lot of personality to it, and it's got like a lot of like it's got a lot of like really interesting concepts going on at the same time. It just there are like once you get used to like some of it, once you get used to like some of the quirks of the game, it actually opens up in a really fun way, and the whole idea of like being able to craft and build your own melee and ranged weapons is really fun. Like I found myself like for like 2 hours like figuring out like like what kind of sword I wanted to build, and you can like so when you're building a sword, for example, you have the base type of sword, like, and so there's different kind of blades, like there's like a saw blade you can use, or like there's a katana blade, and different kinds of blades that you can pair with like different kinds of handles, and they each have different stats on them, and from there you can add different augments and stuff to the weapon, and the same thing goes for the ranged weapons. Like there are different kinds of guns, and each gun is comprised of like 4 or 5 parts, and you can put those parts together to make different guns, and that's been a lot of fun to mess with. The way the story plays out though is that I don't know if you've played and I don't remember if this is the case in Banjo-Kazooie, but ukulele is the most recent memory I have to draw from. And you know how like when you talk to characters in ukulele, they like they have the box of the text of what they said, but they make all those like weird grunts and noises instead of like
that's the best thing about it.
yeah. And so so it's basically like that, except like so when you talk to somebody in the game, they make noises like that, but then like there's this narrator who says they said this and this and this, and it's actually kind of cool because it's kind of like got kind of a like a storybook feel to it. But yeah, so that's basically what I've been playing. I've had to kind of give up on a Guilty Gear Strive lately because they've been on some bullshit, and I've been very frustrated.
Guilty Gear, to be honest.
Huh?
So I was surprised you didn't bring it that you were playing Guilty Gear, to be honest.
Yo, because like it's just it's been kind of a struggle lately to actually play it. Like I'm having trouble like connecting to lobbies, and I'm having trouble connecting to the game. And the last time I played, I had like the last time I actually got into a match, like my ping was all over the place, and the game was like missing inputs and shit, and so I was just like, I just got really frustrated, and I kind of had to step back from it for a while. I'm gonna go back to it, but like, it sucks because like, it's my favorite fighting game of the last few years, and I love playing it, and I was very excited about it, but like, the more the stuff piles up, the more my excitement's starting to like die down, because it's just very frustrating. But hopefully it gets sorted out. But because it's a great game otherwise. It's
I'll
just
talk to their mother.
Yeah, please do, because this is unacceptable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but that's it.
Yeah. So I haven't really had a lot of energy because depression, and also I dealt with the death of a friend. But I have resubscribed to Apple Arcade because I heard a
keep
couple
it at this point.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
Well, I go like a month or two without playing it, so I mean I'm saving up money when I'm not playing it. I think this is what you should do with like all subscription services, to be completely honest.
Not Nintendo Online.
Yeah. Hold on.
$20 for the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's different. But so what I've been doing is I've gone through most of the Studio Ghibli collection on HBO Max, because there's a lot of them I haven't watched, or I haven't watched in a hot minute. And I finally watched like the new one, Earwig and the Witch.
Oh yeah.
It was disappointing. I'll just be honest on that. But I also been watching Boruto. But what I did is
I'm certain it's no Boruto.
Oh yeah. Actually, I watched all like 900 something episodes of Naruto. I mean, there's probably, I don't know what the actual number is, but I watched all of Naruto and all of Shippuden.
I'm sure that's accurate.
So I got like the first 50-ish episodes of Boruto when it first aired.
God, yeah.
Oh, there's 180 something now. I think maybe more than that. But and then I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this show. It's so
bad.
Not for me. And but then everybody's been talking about how great Naruto is now. So I'm finally past that point, and people are right. It does get significantly better. You just need to watch the first 50 episodes.
Fuck that.
Okay. All right.
Fuck that.
But while I've been watching Boruto and Studio Ghibli, I deleted all the games off my phone, and then started downloading basically all of the games on Apple Arcade, from newest to oldest. I haven't gotten to the whole catalog yet of what they have, but I've been going through it and then playing at least one episode or maybe half a movie of the game and switching to the next one, because I want to play the entire Apple Arcade collection and just to see what I think at the end of it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing in my time. Honestly, now that I brought up Notebook earlier, I was like, man, I should have been writing some of these down in Notebook, because I'm going to forget. I have a very shitty memory of if I like something or not. So I think I might, after this episode...
So, I don't know if you remember a couple years back, whenever the NES Classic came out, I modded Sandy's for him, so he could play every NES game, right? And he started doing that, and he was streaming it for a while, but, he'd only play, 5 or 10 minutes of some of them, I'm glad you're playing it. Give him at least half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, half an hour to, some of them maybe, if I like them, a little bit longer. I did re-download one game that's not an Apple Arcade game, just because I want that comfort stuff. So I re-downloaded the Harry Potter... no, I should re-download it. No, I should not. That took over my life. Sure. I should not re-download that. Yeah. But the Harry Potter game, it's still not the best, and basically to do most things you want, you have to give them money, which I don't do. But I did recently become an animagus, so I can turn into a dog now in the game. And that's pretty fun.
That's
so I got
what we
that
call a
going for me.
werewolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's like a little puppy. I kind of
Yeah.
look like Riley. But yeah, and it's also just not moon related, so not a werewolf.
Okay.
This fucking nerd, man.
I'm just.
Oh man.
Sorry, I just.
Not moon related. That's funny.
We've been me and a couple friends have been doing it like have y'all seen what we do in the shadows, right?
Yeah.
The movie, not the show.
The show's great.
Oh. Well, like Colin Robinson, the emotional vampire, where like what if there were other in-office creatures like that?
Yeah.
It's like office zombies, that the ones that just like mill about, brain dead at work, that would just like, and then also office sirens. They just like talk a lot of shit and just like bring you down morally instead of like crashing into like the shores by real sirens. It just like mentally kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fun. If you guys want to, send me on any of my social media. I don't check my social media. Depression's been a bitch, but even before I was bad about it. Send it to somebody what you think is funny. But yeah, that's honestly, I've just been on my phone. I haven't really touched my Switch. I unplugged my PS4 like a month ago, and I haven't plugged it back in. I really just, yeah. I haven't played much, but I've been having fun doing the Apple Arcade stuff. I've played a lot of them, so I don't really want to go through them now. I definitely wouldn't mind at the end of it going through, maybe doing like top 10 games.
Wait, like when you're done with it, or at the end of this episode?
Oh, at the when I'm done with like all of the Apple Arcade collection.
Number 1, Grindstone.
Yeah. Oh.
I mean, I do
can
love
I
Outlanders.
just say that Ryan, you've got a bit of a Palpatine thing going on right now.
He does.
I'm feeling.
Tell Tommy to do it.
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good and dark.
You still give a granddaughter?
Yeah. I'm feeling good and dark, so I'm vibing. Don't worry about it. My head got cold because of the giant bald spot on the top of it. So.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
You might.
But
You might.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if you go bald later.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, I would laugh too. I have like flat spots and weird lumps on my head. It's gonna be hilarious. I have a really ugly scalp. I've thought about shaving my head multiple times. No one wants to look at that.
Someone told you that you have an ugly scalp?
No, I can feel it, but also like my hair. One of my old hairstylists
it's like when a football is slightly deflated.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like in the back of my head, I have like a perfect triangle. It's like a little flat shelf.
That sounds disgusting.
And then it like indents.
Yeah,
that sounds.
Yeah, no one wants to see that.
I mean, it is almost Halloween, so
sure, 'tis the season, right?
Yeah.
God, shit, you're gross.
I am. But yeah, this week though, Ryan, you had a topic for us.
Yes. So, as much as I like video games, I find that the video games that I enjoy, as I'm building myself up to engage with them, they give me different kinds of anxiety when I play them. And I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about that and how it actually it's obviously at odds with my interest in this pastime, and I kind of just have to just deal with it. So I guess the
question.
What's that?
So, is it like real anxiety, or is it like actual anxiety, or do you mean like stress? Because like some stress in your brain is good because it pushes you to do things and figure out things.
Mm-hmm.
So in this, are we talking strictly anxiety, or since they can kind of overlap, like both?
That's actually a really good question. Honestly, most of the time, the feeling that I'm perceiving in that moment is being anxious. So I identify it as anxiety, but it could also just be stress. But so
It doesn't really matter,
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
context of this conversation.
I didn't know if there was if there was a like noticeable difference, or if like you mean it kind of like in like a similar vein, or if you didn't want to, and I didn't think to ask before the episode, so I'm clarifying now.
Okay. So like the biggest one is, well, the biggest one I'd have to say has to do with like basically all manner of competitive online games. I found that as I've gotten older, my interest in playing competitive games online, has increased. However, whenever I am getting myself ready to play one of those games, like I start feeling like super anxious, right? And like we'll take Guilty Gear for example, right? So Guilty Gear is really bad with like it mixes really bad with this because when you start Guilty Gear, the game takes forever to connect to its servers, and it takes forever to get to the point where you're actually in the main menu, like in actually
So you're just
able to.
waiting and hoping
Yeah,
for,
so
like,
I'm
an
basically
extraordinarily long
yeah,
time.
so like a box will pop up that says connecting to servers or something along that line, right?
Deathloop takes a long time for that shit too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like Tom. It's kind of like how like Street Fighter V takes a while every time you boot it up. It's like it's basically like similar, except actually slightly longer, I think. But so
I don't know if I can believe that.
yeah, that is actually kind of hard to believe. But the next time we see each other, I'll show you what I'm talking about. You might be inclined to agree, but it's a similar feeling for me of kind of like of being on a roller coaster, right? To me, the worst part of the roller coaster is that climb to the top, because I'm kind of just like, I know what's coming, and also I'm very afraid of heights. So like, I'm like, as we get higher, like I'm watching and waiting for this stuff to happen, and then then everything just goes as it does. So, and when I'm getting ready to play Guilty Gear, like I'm waiting for the game to let me into the menu so I can go into a lobby, and then I get into the lobby, and I start feeling really nervous, right? I just start feeling, and there's not really a tangible, explainable reason why I feel nervous, but I just do. Despite the fact that like I'm really happy to be here and I'm glad to be playing this game, but like
I made decisions to join this lobby.
yeah, but like I'm really nervous about getting into a match, and the thing about ArcSys games is that in order to fight, most of the time when you go into a lobby to fight somebody, you have to stand at a station and wait for someone to challenge you, right? Or you go to a station where someone's already standing. So like I'll stand at the station, and like I'm just standing there waiting for someone to come and challenge me, and I'm just like, oh my god, someone's gonna walk up any minute, and I'm really feeling really nervous, and then someone will challenge me, and then the match will go on, and like in the match I'm having a great time, this is awesome, but like everything before that is just nerve-wracking for me, and there are even times where go ahead, Shanae.
Do you think the fact that like since the game is so buggy, that might like also add to it, because you just don't know, even when you do get a match, if it's going to like be enjoyable?
So I mean, this is like prior to this.
I mean, the netcode's good.
Yeah. So
when you're actually playing, you should be fine.
Yeah. So prior to this last update, like there were no problems.
I didn't know if this was like a more recent thing, but yeah.
Oh,
I mean, but also like all of that build up, like does draw attention for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, and there'll be those moments where someone like it'll say like this person is challenging you, and then for one reason or another, the game at sometimes it'll come up with like an error that says like couldn't connect or something like that, and like then we can't do the match, and like there's like this little there's a little tinge of like relief, and but at the same time, like I'm also disappointed because like I want to play this game, but I'm also like really nervous with it.
But what are we nervous about?
That's the thing. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because like I'm not nervous about losing because who gives a shit, right? But like,
I think a lot of people do.
well, I mean,
You know?
in the context in the context of me,
of him,
like
Yeah.
like I don't care if I lose or not, right? Like I like playing the game,
you're
and
used to lose it.
like I like playing the game. I like feeling myself like getting better and getting stronger with my techniques. But if I lose, then I lose, you know. I mean, because it's just and like because on one hand, like if I won all the time, then that's not fun either. So I'm okay with it, but you know, at the same time,
I
like,
don't know, man. Justin Wong looks like he's having a good time, you know?
well, yeah, but Justin,
I mean-
that's also like
winning all the time.
winning all the time is also money in Justin Wong's pocket, right? Like me winning all the
Yeah.
time is $0 in my pocket.
Like if you were getting money in your pocket based off wins,
Sure,
you
then
would
that
care more about.
that would color my perception, or it could also exacerbate that because if my income was based on how well I continue to do this fighting game, then I might, you know, then that might be a whole nother problem for me. But it's weird, right? Because like I feel so anxious, like every time, right? And but I'm like I want to be there, but then like I'll do a few matches, and then I sometimes, not always, I'll hit a threshold where I'm just like, okay, I need to step back because this is making me too nervous. After a few matches, then I'll just be like, okay, that's the last one, and then I dip. When I'm playing with friends, though, it's like completely different. Like I could play for hours with my friends, but when I'm playing against randoms, it's just like it's always like this thing where like I always feel like kind of nervous about it.
I mean, it's a different thing, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I think like we've talked about it before that competitive multiplayer games, specifically online competitive games, really don't do a good job of showing progress, right? Like they show you won or you lost. You know, some games, Call of Duty, like here's the headshots you got or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like I do think
Great
like
assist.
I do think yeah, exactly, right? I think games could be better about it, but I also think players need to could be better about like you know, setting expectations and gauging what they consider to be progress.
Sure.
We've talked about that before, right? Like in
Yeah.
a fighting game, yeah, you lose and you feel like, oh, that fucking sucked or whatever. You could look at it as like, well, did I get that combo off I've been practicing?
Right.
Maybe I want to get this many Roman cancels or
Right.
whatever, right? And that same thing could be applied to really any competitive game.
Right.
But if it's not a win-lose thing for you, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't really know where this conversation goes. Like, I guess it could be a stranger danger situation,
Well-
since you don't mind playing with your friends, you know.
Yeah. Well, I
but
don't-
like, other than that,
But also, like, if you know that you're gonna play with friends, like, you know what to expect. You know you're gonna get in a game. You're not like all I can think about, like, even then with like you said, the connection thing. Like, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna be like a fun game? Are you just gonna get demolished? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen in the match, or like how it's gonna go down.
Yeah.
There's a lot like more guesswork, and in general, with things that we don't know, like we do get more anxious or like tense. That's the premise of like most horror movies.
Yeah.
Like I don't believe in ghosts, and I don't give a shit about ghosts or like haunted places. But when I watch the Paranormal Activity movies, I'm gonna jump when there's a jump scare. Like I'm still like tense and anxious.
And it should also be mentioned that like, you know, anxiety doesn't always make sense. You know, it just sometimes it just is, right?
I mean, in the competitive sphere, I do definitely get anxious, and I have for a really long time. It's why I haven't really played competitive games online in years, except for like raids. I mean, even then, it's been like years now for me. But like raids in World of Warcraft, because I can like watch videos and I know the raids, and there's like a billion people. I wouldn't feel super like, and it's not like competitive in a lot of the sense like Halo or Call of Duty or first-person shooters are. So like that one, because it's a collaborative goal, I never would. But anytime I play like especially shooters, I always get anxious because like I know I'm not great at them.
Yeah.
And especially the shooters I play, which are all years old, like Halo for sure. Like anytime my friend wants to play online, I'm just like, okay, because I know that he enjoys it. But I just like I'm bad at it. Like
Sure.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna help the team.
Dude,
And
there's
I'm
been
just
times
like
I
really
play something online with Ryan, and I'm like, you're gonna have to carry me. Like, you have to
I
carry
just
me, you know?
I just like I don't want to make it not fun for the other person
Yeah.
because I'm so bad at it. And I hate for like my own sense of like accomplishment that like the most I manage is to not die so that the kill death ratio for the other team isn't super high. Like most of the time that's my goal is like I was like, all right, I gotta find a place good to hide. All right, people come this way, I gotta go find a new place to hide. And that's how I spend my game is trying not to die. So I don't like ruin the fun or make my team lose. Because I'm not gonna be the reason we win. But I don't want to be the reason we lose.
Dude, let me tell you something. There's like this one time not too long ago where Ryan and Kaylee were like, Tom, buy this game Knockout City and play it with us, you know? And I'm like, all right, I'll play Knockout City with you. And then I did really bad, and they never asked me to play again.
That's actually not true. That's not true, and he knows
it's
that's
not
not true.
it's not that they never asked, it's just that y'all never played. They never showed up again. But
yeah. That's how that happened.
No, so I definitely get anxious, and like I don't really, and like specifically with like Halo, I don't really have any sort of want on my own to go play online because that game's been out for so many years, and people have played the Halo, no matter which Halo game I play. Like it's been out for so many years, and people have been playing the franchise for so long that people are just like great at it.
Yeah.
So when I play it, I'm just like I'm a baby. I don't know how to walk.
Yeah.
And like
Walking stuff.
it's just and it's just like and they are like a fucking mech droid that's just like destroying all the villages, and I'm just like sup.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's not fun for me. I just feel anxious even when like I'm not playing with people I know. I feel anxious about the team that I'm on because I don't want them to hate me.
Yeah, and you know I do.
I'm so insecure that strangers on Halo really make me anxious.
You know, and I do think that there's an element of it that is like a win or lose thing. Like ideally, like I want to win. I'm not playing to lose, right? But
I mean, I don't really play a lot of like 1v1 competitive games.
Yeah.
I've never got into fighting games.
And I think that's also a large part of it too. Is that like it's just me and this other guy, you know? And so, like, there is when I mess up, then it's very apparent because like I'm the only other person on the screen, you know.
Who was that? Who was that poor combo? Fucking guy, get out of here.
You know, and it's like, and I consider myself to be pretty decent at Guilty at Strive, which I never thought I would say that I was pretty decent at any Guilty Gear, but I think I'm pretty decent at Strive. But I don't know. I think that also like sometimes there are other factors too, right? Like sometimes even when I'm playing with a friend, sometimes I get tricked into playing on their stream, and then I get my ass kicked on TV, and I don't like that. So
Hey, let's roll the tape back and watch Ryan get his ass kicked.
And you know,
insert a clip here.
Yeah, and, like those motherfuckers be putting like, I get clipped. Like, well, where's the clip of you getting your ass kicked, buddy? But that's, you know, it is what it is. But like even
their streams, they're not gonna put that because then no one will respect them.
but like beyond that, like there are other kinds too, right? Like,
oh shit! Sorry, my desk just broke. I don't know if y'all heard that, but my desk just broke.
I thought that was your back.
Yeah.
Because I heard a crack and like, oh! You just see like her hand like reach up and like turn the camera off.
I just kind of want to take like any like the things that are on my desk that are expensive and take them off because I think this might just go out. But we'll see how it goes. If I quickly leave the stream, the podcast, you know why.
Sure.
Yeah, that's all right. Sorry, I'm just gonna try to ignore that.
You're good. You're okay. But
yeah,
okay, so competitive multiplayer. What else, Ryan?
So also like, here's actually honestly, the bigger thing, right? is, and this applies to really all games, I think, but it's the anxiety of playing a game and something could happen in the game or some aspect of the game could make it so like I'm like, and this sounds really dumb now that I'm about to say it out loud, but like some aspect of the game might be just like make me really get to the point where man, I know I bought this game, but I suddenly don't really like it so much, you know, and like, and I have that because like, you know, I'm not, I make a decent living, but like, I'm not a guy who can just like afford to like buy games that he hates and then just be okay with it, you know?
You're not going into GameStop getting one of all their stock.
I haven't been inside of a GameStop in literal years at this point. So
yeah, but if you had the money to buy one of every game that you have in stock, you'd probably go to GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
That's true. He would.
Yeah.
Actually,
I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's like
especially now, like you know me, I'm all for paying full price for a game.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But like I don't know, man. I spent probably like $250-ish on video games this last week.
Yeah.
And like it would suck if they weren't fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I do think about that a lot. Like, especially like, dude, there's games I followed for years that like I've been waiting for them, and they come out and they're fucking terrible, you know? Like Skatebird, man. I've been waiting for Skatebird since 2017.
That game looks so
that
cute.
game fucking sucks.
Does it?
You know?
That game looks so fucking cute.
Same thing. Like you guys have
Skatebird.
heard me talk about Sable
Yeah.
for years now. I played the Sable demo, and I'm like, nope.
Really?
You know? But at least I didn't spend money on it.
Sure.
You know.
So that
Now what's worse, spending $60 on a game, or desiring a game and watching coverage over the course of 2, 3, 4 years for it. You know.
Well, and so here's the thing.
Money is worse.
Is it?
Well, I don't know. I think that like I don't know. I think it's that's whether or not that's worse is directly proportionate to how much you wanted that game to begin with.
Yeah.
I think so.
Like Kingdom Hearts 3, right? Sinead, people waited a decade for Kingdom Hearts 3. And what if you played that and it was fucking miserable, you know?
What if you played that and you had to play as Goofy?
What if you're like me, who loves garbage? Then it's fine. Even if it turned out terrible, you still love it.
That is
it's
true.
Garbage.
Shanae likes a lot of garbage. But like,
I mean, if you didn't like Kingdom Hearts 3, you're just a fake fan. I don't know what to tell you.
That is true.
So like it's like with Deathloop. Right? Because I wanted, like, the first time I heard about Deathloop, I was like, man, this game looks badass. It has all this shit in it that I think I like. But then, like, I look at it, and I'm like, man, what if I can't play this? Like,
Dude, I thought the same thing.
Like, what if I can't play this?
Like, it was intimidating to me.
Yeah.
You know? But, like, it's not. Like, the first few hours, you're going to be like, you're going to feel that. You're going to be like, what if I can't?
Yeah.
And then it'll all click, and you're like, okay, it's great.
Yeah.
If I've been waiting for something for years, because there have been games definitely like that, like Kingdom Hearts 3, like Borderlands.
Like a Skatebird.
That I have, that once I decide that I'm going to like it, I just like it, even if it's garbage. And I just think that maybe you should just convince yourself to like things.
Dude, Ryan, let me tell you about it. There was a game Ryan and I waited not a terrible amount of time for, probably about a year for, that we talked about it back and forth. And it came out, and we both hated it. And we were both disappointed, and we spent our money on at least one new copy of it. I think just I bought it. I'm not sure. It was a game called Bound by Flame.
Oh, that game looks so. Look, let me tell you something today. Like the first time I saw that game was on Tumblr, back when Tumblr still had pornography on it. And I mean,
I was like, oh, porn days.
It looks great.
It looks so fucking cool. And then
you were watching Bound by Flame porn on Tumblr and decided you wanted the game.
Unimportant, but. That game, like all the screenshots of that game, like, look so cool, and it just look. And this is like especially like because it was kind of early in the life cycle of the PS4. And so it was like, oh man, this is gonna be the PS4 game to play, and that game is just fucking trash. I hate that game.
I don't know. I've had similar stuff happen with books and certain movies as well. and where I'm like internally, I'm like, I'm a little disappointed with this, but I'm like, but these good things happened.
I
Yeah.
do
I
feel
don't
like
know.
the
I just
problem,
lie to
like,
myself.
I do feel like that issue, at least for me, has decreased as time has gone on. I've said many times on the show that I feel like if you buy a game and you don't like it, like you you like at this point it would have been very easy to educate yourself on whether you would have
Sure.
liked that game or not
Yeah.
before buying it. Which, and
Yeah.
I know that's not always the case,
Right.
right? But most of the time that
Like,
is the case, unless you just want to go into something blind, which sometimes I do. But like it's
I love going to movies blind. I think it's one of my favorites.
sure, but
No,
like I just you're right. Like that same thing bothers me.
well, it's just hard because like I'm at odds with like I want to make sure that I'm not wasting like 60, sometimes $70 on a
Yeah.
game. And but like at the same time, like I'm one of those people who doesn't want to know about too much about the game's mechanics or like other aspects of the game before playing because I want to be surprised by everything.
Yeah.
And like so I'm like leading up to it, I'm just like it's weird, right? Because like I have this thing where I'm looking forward to the game, like from the moment that it's launched or from the moment that it's announced, right? And then like it actually comes to where I can buy the game, and like that excitement gives way to something else. Like it's not disinterest or anything, but it's like it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but like
You know what I get a lot, dude, is like a game's getting ready to come out and I'm excited for it. Like right, like from the day I hear about it, I'm psyched
Yeah.
for the game. And as it's getting closer and closer to launch, there's actually a couple games getting ready to come out that I feel this way about. I'm like, I know I like that game.
yeah,
Maybe I played the alpha or the beta or whatever. I'm like, I know I like this game,
right,
but I'm like, it's gonna be $60 for the cheapest version of it.
yeah,
I'm like, how much am I actually gonna play the game?
right,
You know?
right,
And that bothers me probably more,
yeah,
probably more so.
and it's
A
kind
game, a
uh,
game like Back for Blood, right? Like, I know I like that game. The beta was great. I liked it a lot, but I'm
right.
like, I don't want to play with bots. And like, I don't want to play with randos. So
Sure.
like, it's really up to how many of my friends are playing it,
Right.
and how often are they playing it,
Right.
and are they playing it at times when I can play it?
And that's
you
the thing
know?
is like it's no way to know that.
back to scheduling.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way to know that before you get the game, right? So,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, Berto's been playing more and more with his coworkers rather than some of his other friends just because their schedules line up. So he's
Yeah.
playing like games that he doesn't normally play just so like just because like one of them is into it, so they're getting the rest of them into it. Yeah, scheduling as an like video games as an adult is a giant bitch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it sucks.
yeah, so whenever you brought up the topic, the first thing that popped in my mind though, as far as like being like anxiety games, is I will like a game and I'll really put like time and effort into it as I do. And then for some reason or another, I stop playing it. And then I'll get that like craving to go back and play it. And that makes me anxious because I know there's so much stuff that I was doing
Yeah.
or
Oh yeah.
I may have forgot it, but I don't want to replay it.
Sure.
Yeah,
So
that
like
happens
I
to me
just like
too.
so then I just get like more and more anxious and I don't play it because I'm like, oh, there's so much I need to do. And it just keeps like compounding until I just never play the game again.
See, and for
It
me,
just
it's
makes me
always
anxious.
for me, it always turns into, well, I guess I'm starting over.
Yeah.
So that happens a lot with like things like Oblivion. I played the beginning of that like a billion times. Like there's plenty of games that I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna replay it because I don't know at this point and it's just so far gone. And there's some that I don't mind, but there's some that I'm just like, I remember grinding through a part. I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not. Like
Well,
See,
and like
but
sometimes I'll still redo it and I'll like figure out a better way to get past that grindy part. But there's just certain games that like you just know that you're gonna have to grind a lot. You know that you're gonna have to do stuff. There's no other way around it. The game is set up that way, and I'm just like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I just
in most instances, doing that though, not always, right? But I think in most, at least for me, restarting a game from the beginning that maybe I played a year ago or 6 months ago, and I'm coming back to it now. Um, like for me, it's usually great, right? It's like Ryan with Remnant from the Ashes. It's like me talking the other week with Devil May Cry, right?
Feels like a new game again.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
But
Not
like
always.
it sucks though because like there are some games like I said I went back to Genshin recently, right? But the thing about Genshin is that all that shit is saved server side, and you can't start over unless you like create a new account. So
that sucks.
so I'm just like in like I have like quests.
You got to relearn.
Like I'm having to relearn the mechanics of this game, and like it's not like you can redo the tutorial. Like they have like they archive the tutorials so you can kind of refresh yourself, but like I'm still like, what was I doing? How does this stuff work? And you kind of have to relearn it or like spend like a couple hours on the internet like reacclimating yourself. So
yeah. But yeah, no, sometimes I don't replay games because I'm so anxious about where I left it off.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I'm playing a game that there's a lot of stuff doing it, like I'll stay up extra late or whatever because I'm like, if I'm gonna play this again later, I'm not gonna want to like be in the middle of all this shit. So I'm like, I have to finish it before I go to sleep.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm not gonna play this game again.
Yeah. I don't know. It's there are times though where, you know, I really want to, you know, get a game and just like something about it, like just like something about like maybe like it'll be like an early section of the game or like a mechanic doesn't work the way that I expected, and it makes me nervous about the rest of the game. And then like the first like unless it works out, like the first couple hours of the game I've spent like waiting for like the other shoe to drop, and I'm just like, I don't know if I
see, and
like
that's
this game.
definitely something with me, right? Like not understanding a game.
Yeah.
You know, like if I start a game and like within the first hour or so I don't understand exactly what I'm doing, that'll put me off.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I don't have a goal in mind or I don't get where the story's going, like there's plenty of games I'm like, all right, this is a red herring. I bet that's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
This is going to happen there. And I'm like,
for me,
all
it's
right,
always like a mechanical
cool. Like,
thing, though. You know.
I mean,
like JRPGs. I love JRPGs, but they're like they all have, not all, but most of them have systems unique to them. You know. And I'll get into one, and I just won't get it. You know, I won't get it for like an hour or two. I'm like, fuck, do I keep playing not knowing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Or do I just leave it alone, you know?
a lot of those, like, whenever I go to the bathroom, I'll just be on my phone and be like, all right, like, what's, like, best way to use this mechanic for the game? And I'll just, look it up. So there's a lot of times, like, on those where I'll go outside for a cigarette, and I'm like, all right, I don't really get what's going on. What am I missing? Yeah. And so I'll look it up and look up tips for it. And if I think it's stupid, then I'll totally stop it as well. I'm like, this isn't for me. Yeah. And then I'll just go look up the story, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm done with this game now.
And honestly, and there was one more that is it's very small, but like it's something that like it nags at me in a way. And I think me and Tom talked about this on the last show when we were talking about character action games, but like it's the idea, or I get this nagging feeling, which I guess, like, when I think about it, it's not really anxiety, but I guess it could be. I'm not sure. But, like, it's this nagging feeling that I'm not playing the game the right way. Mm-hmm. So, for example, I've been playing...
all the time.
I'm playing one of the Tales games, Tales of Berseria. And the way the combat works in those games is that each character will string 4 moves into a combo. And then like any game with a combo system, there are optimal combos, right? But I'll be playing the game, and I'll like, you could assign different combos to different buttons, and you could mix those up, right? But so I'll assign them like kind of haphazardly because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And like the game so far, I put like maybe 25 hours into Tales of Berseria at this point, and only once does it clue you in as to what would be considered an optimal combo against this very specific guy. And then every other time, it just kind of lets you go on like and try to figure it out. So like I have these combos that I set up, again, haphazardly because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then I'm fighting these guys, and like I'm winning, but I'm just like, am I doing this right?
Take the poop. You should look this up.
I'm just like, am I doing this right? Is this how I'm supposed to do it? Is this the optimal way to go about this? Because I feel like if I'm not doing it right, then I must be missing out on something somewhere, and I don't
See,
like that.
and that's sort of what I meant a second ago with like not understanding a mechanic or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes with some of the Atomi games I play, because I'm just like, so because like in a lot
What do
of
you mean? You just read.
Tom,
I
let
was
her
trying to
finish.
say,
I just played.
God damn it,
I'm just playing.
Ryan, I was gonna say, let me finish. Sorry, I was trying to say what I meant. So you just let me finish. Anyways,
Okay, I'll let you.
is with the choice options is like, so a lot of times I find brands of the games that are the developers that I
The
like,
publishers,
and
yeah.
yeah, and publishers, and so I'll go with that. And a lot of them have like similar patterns with their story structures, and of course, like in most of my games, like the love interest fall within like very stereotypical categories. So it's normally not like too terribly difficult to figure out what would be a good path, what would give you the bad ending, and what may like give you no points so you can go pursue somebody else. But there's times, especially when I try a new publisher or anything like that, that I just like I don't know what options to pick, and I want to go look up a guide. But I've been trying to do that less and less.
Yeah,
'Cause I used to
especially
do
for
that a
that
lot.
kind of game. You know?
Well, normally I would like if I like start a new thing, I will at least look up a couple guides because then if I really like a character, their design, or I really want to know what their story is, I'm like, all right,
You
here's the
fucking
best way to
cheater.
get. I don't give a shit. But like I'll go do that.
You
And
can't
it,
cheat
like,
the reading game, all right?
you
Just
can because I
read
do
it
it.
and play it.
uh, you can because I do it, and some of the stories are very long, and I'm like I'm not. So I mean, also when uh I would kind of get my saves mixed up. Now I'm a lot better about recognizing where my saves are with those kinds of games, especially after like years. So a lot of times if I realize I'm going down the wrong path, I'll go and pick another save. And if that's not further back, then I'll just keep going further back in my saves. But
Yeah.
now I have a system, so it's a lot easier. But yeah, like but with that, like essentially like sometimes I'm just like I don't know where they're going with the story, like I don't know why this option gave me love points and this one did not. It doesn't make sense with their character design. Are they not this kind of
Dude,
character?
that's me in real life, you know? I don't know why that option gave me love points and that one didn't, you know?
A lot of them
So
subtract the points.
your life is an atonement.
Yeah, most of them subtract the points, you know? Because I didn't give the right gift or whatever.
Yeah, you got to give them the right to gift. See, you know, actually, now when you think about it,
As
like,
a married man, you should listen to Ryan.
That's
yeah,
true.
don't
That's
listen.
true. That is true.
Don't
I
listen.
should go to Ryan for all my romantic advice.
Well,
And if you'd like to do the same, you can reach him.
Okay, you gotta
you
understand.
can hit us up on our Discord if you want love advice from Ryan.
No, you gotta.
Oh man, I'm totally gonna make that a channel.
Don't do that
Discord channel.
because like here's the thing. Here's the thing is that my
Ryan
spouse.
Robinson, love guru.
No, you have to understand. Like the only reason I'm married is because I happen to find someone who is very tolerant of my specific brand of tomfoolery and bullshit, and
Ryan Foolery.
yeah, so like she's very understanding of the kind of person that I am, right? And she's very receptive to the kind of person that I am, and she puts up with
You got the love points.
I get the love points, but only in a way that I can be.
You
that.
figured out her dialogue tree and what options she likes.
Right, because like
right
but like here's the thing is that the shit that comes out of my mouth most of the time, most people will not like that. Don't listen
true.
to me.
That is true.
Yeah.
You know?
We had a poll. You are the least favorite of the three podcast hosts.
I sincerely doubt that.
I doubt that too.
You're the one with the ugly scalp. I know what my scalp looks like because I can see it all the time.
I got
no
one.
lumps,
It's
baby.
kind of. I think it's in the same vein. Like a big one for me. You know, I know Ryan's said several times an old game is old. He's not super into going back and playing games. I go back and play games frequently. You know, there's some games I'll play annually, but like that always worries me. Going back to an old favorite and like there's always a feeling like maybe it's not good, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I thought it was good 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but
Yeah.
like maybe it's not. And like I'm feeling that right now cuz like Diablo 2 is getting ready to come out, Alan Wake's getting ready to come out,
But
you know?
I feel like we played Alan Wake within the last 5 years, right? And I feel like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, and we seemed to find it pretty entertaining. I think the last time I actually played Alan Wake was like 2015.
And I've played it since then, but not like
Yeah.
all the way through.
Yeah.
You know? But like, yeah, that's always the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I play a lot of old ass games. Like even now, you know, we talked a few weeks ago about me playing Max Payne.
Hey, you are old ass.
Fucking, huh?
What? I said you are an old ass. So,
Yeah,
like,
you know,
makes
Monkey
sense.
Ball remake is coming out. Like there's
Ooh.
so many remakes coming out of games I like a lot. I'm like, what if it's not good? You know? What if I
That's how I
was
feel about
wrong?
it.
You know?
That's how I feel about next Nintendo Direct because I'm excited about it, but what if it's bad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel it's weird because for how nervous video games make me in like a million different ways, I play a shitload of them. I spend basically almost all of my free time playing them.
I mean,
But they
you
freak
could just
me
be a
out.
nervous person, and everything freaks you out. This just freaks you out the least amount.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, maybe.
So I mean, how does playing like a pickup soccer game make you feel?
Tired.
Because it makes me very nervous.
Makes me tired.
I am not good at that.
Like just the idea of running around the required amount to play soccer makes me feel exhausted. Just the idea
You know
of
what's
that.
funny? It's like a lot of these though, I feel like exist outside of gaming for me. Like in gaming as well, but like a lot of these things I could apply to new movies or books or albums even, you know, like random other shit. You know, whether something is going to be good or revisiting something is as good as the first time,
Yeah.
or whether I'm going to understand something, or you know, I feel like most of them can be applied to many other things.
Yeah.
But about video games, not other things. So we're only going to talk about
Sure.
video games.
But you know,
Good point, Shanae.
thank you, Shanae.
As many times as y'all told me I get off topic, so
I've never said that. Find it.
Okay.
Find a tape where I said that.
Yeah, Ryan's never said that.
Yeah.
and into your cup.
And you know what? You know what? I have all the tapes, so I know if I said that or not. All right. I'm the keeper of the tapes.
Ryan, I don't think you have enough space on your computer to save all these podcasts we've done.
I've actually deleted a substantial amount. So.
But yeah, do y'all have any closing thoughts?
Play Deathloop and play Kena. Do it.
Drink water and take your meds.
Drink whiskey and go to bed.
Drink beer and do it in the rear? Like, I don't know.
Shanae.
Shit, come
Shanae,
on,
that's
dude.
inappropriate. You know?
Like, we almost made it all the way through without Shanae
Without
talking.
you talking about anal.
Yeah. We just can't do it. I guess we gotta reset that. We gotta reset that counter because like Shanae's put it back to 0.
Oh man, dude! Next week on that wall behind you, Ryan. I guess it's the door. You should have like one of those things like weeks without anal.
Anal being mentioned. Like,
Yeah. 0.
Yeah.
No. Don't watch Earwig and the Witch. Watch the other Ghibli movies. Also, watch Judson Studio. He makes great miniature stuff.
Don't watch Boruto.
Unless you're willing to watch 50 episodes of nonsense to get the good stuff.
We're
then
not
go
willing.
ahead.
Don't watch it.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
I'm saying whoever listens, if they decide that 25 hours of their life are fine being wasted, then yeah, go for it.
I just feel like as a mortal being with a finite lifespan, I just don't think that I should do something like that.
Right. No, you're right.
If you're immortal, then yeah, waste your time.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are mortal, don't watch Boruto.
Yeah. To all the mortals out there.
Yeah. If you want mime lessons, go to Shanae. If you want Sith lessons, go to Ryan.
If you don't hit him up about dating his granddaughter. Apparently, he doesn't like those jokes. But yeah, you can find us on most podcast apps like
What?
Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play. You have a granddaughter named
man.
Ray. Have you not watched the newest trilogy?
No. I think Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna open that can of worms. But
Anyways, we also have a Discord, which will be linked down below. And bye, guys.
Bye.
bye.